Fearful but not afraid. My heart thumping in my chest, sweat dripping from my pores. I couldn't avoid the primal fear coursing through my body. The months leading up to this moment hadn't felt easy, safe, or familiar. Finally, the big day, the big moment was here. I had to walk on stage. I had to perform. I was here to inspire, motivate, and connect. But would I be good enough? Could I ever be that good? Terrified, I walked towards center stage, flashing my best fake smile, wanting nothing more than to run and hide. Just don't crap your pants, Heather. During the previous few days, I'd been extra mindful of how I was fueling my body, cutting back on caffeine, managing my anxiety so I could feel in control of my body at this exact moment. The event was a speaker slam, a competitive in-person speaking event. I'd been afraid to even apply, which I'd seen as a message from the universe that I had to apply, specifically because my resistance felt that intense. Just to be accepted as a speaker, I had to drive an 8-hour round trip 2 separate times to attend mandatory events in Toronto. I had also had to postpone a family vacation by a few days to fit it all into my schedule. Getting accepted had taken weeks, and since receiving the first yes, I'd invested hours and hours in writing, rewriting, and memorizing my speech with the help of a speaking coach. Throughout the process, I'd done everything I've been afraid of, including showing up for every part of the process. For once, if my performance was disappointing, I wouldn't be able to blame my lack of preparation. Whatever happened, I had to take responsibility for my results. And here I was, about to begin, looking at the audience, feeling the heat and the lights all around me. I took a breath. I remember walking out of the hospital after my husband and I were given the news. I began. Feeling your fear and taking action anyways can change your life. If you do it often enough, it will change your life. But you have to show up. You have to do the things that feel uncomfortable. You have to take the action that feels too big or too scary or too much or too little of, fill in the blank. Ladies, it's time to stop waiting for the right time, the right feeling, or the right amount of money or energy. Courage means being scared shitless and doing it anyways. It's time to crap your pants. All right. So, oh boy, that was the beginning of chapter 14, I believe, in my book, Dying to be a Good Mother. And I won't always be sharing stories from my book, but the intention of the podcast, Emotionally Uncomfortable, rebranded from Mamas in Control, is to share a personal story on Tuesdays or somebody else's story on Tuesdays and a professional story on Thursdays. And the whole essence of being emotionally uncomfortable is just that. And I love, love, love telling these stories because it shows you that I am no different than you. And more lately, I'm hearing people say, you don't need to get rid of your fear. You need more courage. And I don't know if this is just now coming into my consciousness or if I've been paying attention in the past, but oftentimes I'll hear people say, I just need to get over my guilt. I just need to get over my fear. I just need to get over this, like when the time passes. And that's such lack mentality because the timing will never be right. You will never feel ready. And in this specific situation, so a speaker slam was like a speaking competition, And it was a desire that I had. I saw some colleagues doing it and I thought, oh my gosh, that would be so fun. And, I would get a full body yes, like super excited about it. This is pre-COVID, by the way, hence the reason why I had to drive so many times to get to this place. In hindsight, post-COVID, it probably would have been on Zoom. I actually did do another speaking competition on Zoom, which felt really disappointing because speaking on Zoom is not the same as speaking in person. But anyways, the reason why I'm saying this is because the desire was there, but this desire scared the shit out of me. And I acted on it. I was determined, and I just kept chipping away. I kept taking the next right action that I needed to take. I didn't have a plan. I felt guilty because we had to move a family trip. I felt guilty because I had to leave the house 2 times to go and drive, 4 hours there, 4 hours back on 2 different occasions. I think one of my kids came with me one time. And so there was a lot, right? There was a lot of mental and emotional things that I had to face. But here's the thing. I got second place in that competition, and it actually moved me to the next phase of the competition. And I remember, I guess my biggest fear of this actual competition was because I actually prepared for it. And I don't know if you're anything like me, and maybe you are, maybe you're not, but I tend to procrastinate on things to avoid feeling the feelings of failure, because we can deflect our feelings, and it's so easy to deflect your feelings. So mentally, I knew, right? I was smart enough. I knew that if I actually prepared for this event, if I hired somebody to help me, which held me accountable, and she edited my speech and she would give me chronic feedback. So it was like, just constantly refine. It's not good enough yet. Refine it. It's not good enough yet. Refine it. It's not good enough yet. So you're getting that chronic feedback that everyone wants to avoid. And then I had to memorize it, and she would make me memorize it, and she would say, okay, say it to me. Like, you're going to say it to me now. And I would say it. It was just like, I wanted everything in my being to run away. And I remember getting off that stage. Wow, it makes me so emotional. I remember getting off that stage being so fucking proud of myself. So proud of myself. And I actually screwed up on stage a little bit, because this specific type of speech, I'm doing more and more speaking, but this specific type of speech had to be memorized. Typically when I'm doing speeches, I'm not memorizing my speech. I'm just going with the flow, or I have bullet points that I'm going to say, or sometimes I have slides. Like even when I did my TEDx, I memorized most of it, but I had slides that could jog my memory. And when I'm doing keynotes, I can share stories. I can read things off of my phone. I can engage the audience. It was very different. So this was a competition, and you learn so much about yourself, and you begin to feel naked and afraid on that stage. But when I got off, I just remember feeling so connected to myself and so connected to every single person in that room. And everyone said, great job, great job, great job. And nobody even noticed that I screwed up. And I remember watching the other people that night, and some of them got really, really nervous, and they, got off stage, and they were just in that shame spiral. And you look at these people and you're just like, wow, they have courage. And so it doesn't matter if it is a personal story or a professional story. We have to face our fears in order to grow. So whether you feel like you are at, your ceiling in your business or work, whether you feel like you're not attracting what you want and desire in your life, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And in order to get there, all you need is more courage. It's about doing the thing that you don't want to do, that's going to scare the shit out of you. And that is where the magic happens. And I will tell you right now, every single time now that I decide to do something, I know, right? Every time you gain some awareness, I know that if I'm really scared to do something, I have to be surrounded by people that are going to hold me when I want to run and hide, which is why it is so important to surround yourself with coaches and therapists and community of people that can support you in your goals and the life choices that you want to make. So, fearful, but not afraid. Let's dive in. You have one life. Use it wisely. There it is. You just listened to the Emotionally Uncomfortable podcast. If you want to take this conversation to the next level, head on over to our private Facebook group community, heatherchauvin.com/Facebook. My last name is spelled CHAUVIN. That's heatherchauvin.com/Facebook. Or you can text the word Facebook to 313-710-5199. That's 313-710-5199. It's a U.S. phone number and text message rates will apply. Also, if you are a huge fan of this show, please rate and review it on iTunes. Every review helps another woman like you take back control of how she wants to feel and become emotionally uncomfortable. I truly believe the better we feel, the more alive we become. This is how we are going to change the world. And if you've been watching me for a while, if you've been on the fence and you're curious, how can Heather help me? Head on over to heatherchauvin.com/work with me to check out my mastery and mastery business coaching programs. That's heatherchauvin.com/work with me.